What is going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I have another awesome Kickstarter for you to check out from the folks at Steam Forged Games. Now, if Steam Forged Games sounds familiar, you'll know that I've done stuff of theirs in the past. We've talked about a variety of different things that they've done, specifically these guys, the Epic Encounter mini-series, which, by the way, I do have the Arena of the Undead Horde, one that I haven't gotten around to. I actually have a handful of Epic Encounter minis to go through and do unboxings and reviews on, so they're just part of my backlog, so we'll get there. But they actually have a new Kickstarter out in their sort of... They've done a handful in the past. We did one where we covered their sort of animal-based. They had Animal Adventures, The Faraway Sea, and they had the different animal adventures. Well, this time, in what is seemingly thematic at the moment in the world of Dungeons & Dragons, magical schools, or schools for student-based adventurers. And that's what I'm going to show you right here in front of me is Adventures in Academia First Class. Now, what I do like above other existing magical schools is this actually provides schools and classes and things for every different D&D base class. That's not including Artificer because open game license reasons. There's the magical hour number left here of 69 hours left to go. They've obviously destroyed their funding goal and are well into stretch goal territory. And one of the things that I kind of like a lot about this is it's just, there's not a ton of stuff. Like it is a very good Kickstarter with not a lot of bells and whistles and different pledge levels to get lost in, where you're like, oh, what if I don't back at this level, then I don't get this. I back at this level, I don't get this. It's simple and easy, and these folks have done a bunch of successful Kickstarters in the past. You can see it right here. There's only two pledge levels, really. There is the support the Kickstarter, and then there's the actual pledge, which is £30, which was roughly around $40 US, and it gets you everything, right? The 12 student minis, which we'll talk about, the exclusive Professor mini, which is like a Basset Hound dog, which is adorable, 13 character folios, a PDF one-shot adventure, battle maps, and character sheet, set to launch in November of 2022. I don't think they'll have any issues with that. I also do have the stuff here in person, so I can unbox the sculpts and show you. One thing I will say is they did also send me this really nice tote bag that actually has some stuff inside it, but which I didn't know it did, but it is the Adventures in Academia First Class tote bag. And as any student needs at their first day of class, a nice pen, a Adventures in Academia First Class pen, and then a handful of different pins that are for the different schools. And again, we have the different schools are tied to sort of the different classes, right? So we have the Divine School, for example, would be things like, I think, Cleric, Paladin, Druid. Arcane School is Warlock, Sorcerer, Wizard. Might School is Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, and so on. So you'll see here's the 12 different minis, which again I do have in this box here in front of me, which is all of the sort of student minis for all of the different characters. And then you can see there's obviously quotes from a bunch of folks. I'll have to write a quote myself. Maybe they'll get up there in time if I'm able to do that. Also, enroll for initiative. Can we talk about how great of a slogan that is? Because it's a college and it's just beautiful. Anyway, so it says, we've done the homework so you don't have to. These 5e compatible role-playing character slot straight into any campaign, and they're ready to go to Magic School. Characters are 5e compatible and come with pre-made character sheets in the form of deluxe fold-out folios, so you can dive straight into the adventures in Magic School. There's even a one-shot you can play in. Here's a very high-level picture showing all of them here. Here's the Professor dog that I was telling you about. Yeah, and then like I said, there's your pledge. It's pretty simple. Here's House Arcane, right? The Warlock, Sorcerer, Wizard. And they do cover a variety of different archetypes here. We have a nice little owl wizard to fit, again, with the Owlin race that was recently released. House Cunning, which is the Rogue, Ranger, Bard. House Divine, Druid, Cleric, Paladin. I also thought it was interesting that this is a very Jester-esque looking cleric. We have House Might, which is a Fighter, Barbarian, Monk. Also digging that it's a turtle or a turtle person monk. Very cool. And then here again are these nice deluxe fold-out character folios that you'll get. Print-ready battle maps, one-shot adventure that's set at the Grand Academy, which is always cool because, I don't know, I always like the concept of determining the backstory of the characters and sort of their background and whatnot through play rather than And, you know, again, there's something to be said about you writing your epic backstory for your level 1 character, but it's just so much more, in my mind, impactful, and it feels more real when the party can play out sort of the intro stuff, and they get to build that character backstory together. And I think going to Magic School would be an easy way to do that. Again, character sheet templates. We have the exclusive dog mini, and then there are some add-ons here. You can get this. The dice look fantastic, and the sculpt looks, I like, there's a little logo there on the 20, and the colors look pretty great. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right? I don't think there's too much stuff here. We can see a little bit about each of the characters that are mentioned that will be here covered in all of the different minis. I like that they also cover a variety of different archetypes and races so that you could multi-slot these in as different characters if you need them, right? So this turtle monk here, it doesn't necessarily have to be a monk. You can tell just by the sculpts here. Again, here's some reviews of all of these. I like the yearbook photos. And then again, here's a little bit about the team behind it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. Again, a pretty simplistic Kickstarter as far as what's going on there. And again, that's not a bad thing. Having things nice and easy, and you don't have to get lost, like I said, in different pledge levels. And then, yeah, we've got them all right here. So what I'm going to do is cut the video and bring it in close, and we'll get a good look at all of these sculpts up close. All right, so up first we have here is Barnaby Talon. This is well, I don't think he has an official title of his race, but he's an owl folk, or perhaps an owlin, and he's a wizard. And one thing that you can see the two-toned base here, and the bottom is this kind of steam-forged game base. This adds a significant amount of weight to the minis, and it feels really good in the hand. Feels hefty, doesn't feel cheap. And I can say that by accident, in the process of unboxing these, I accidentally dropped one from about, and I'll show you the one that I dropped, about a 3-foot height, and I suffered no damage to it whatsoever. Next up here, we have Russia Starfall, and she is our sorcerer here. And again, you can see the detail in these sculpts with the little magical bits, and even just the details down on the base, like the wooden planks on the floor, as well as like the books. Getting really close in here, so we're losing, you know, it's hard to keep 100% of the detail here, but very nice. And then last for House Arcane is Letha Darkpike. Looks to be like a halfling warlock here. We can see here again, got the skull on the one hand and then the staff. Again, very cool. Moving on from House Arcane, we move to House Cunning. So we have our ranger here. We have Aralis and Rubberoo, who's the squirrel that you can see kind of on the shoulder there. That a little bit more in focus. There's the squirrel. Again, just a bow wielder. Then we have Blade Paw the Rogue, which looks to be either cat person or tabaxi, holding cards in the hand there. Very, very... These sculpts are very nice. You can see standing on a treasure chest. And then last is a Vero Evan song, who I believe is supposed to basically be the equivalency of like a furbolg. And this is the mini, and you can see that with these sort of very, you know, the flute there is, you know, that they're holding. This is the one that I dropped from about 3 feet onto the floor. And again, one of the nice things is, one, nothing broke, even the flute, which I thought was sure to snap off. But I think it's actually because of this extra base weight, it tends when it falls to want to land on the base like that, which I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was, that's a genius, because it will, again, force things to want to tip and land base down and fall like that, which the chances of you breaking something off when you impact the bottom like that is little to none. See, there's a, you know, here in a wheelchair, we've got a frying pan and a different traveler's things as a wizard would have. Under House Divine, we have Aranice, I believe is how you pronounce her name, and she is the cleric, who again very much reminds me of Jester from Critical Role. It's sort of the tiefling here. Hammer, and she's got a little like wooden rocking horse on her base. Then we have our Dragonborn Paladin, who is Crestier Zigwin, I think is how you pronounce the names. Again, the names are eluding me here, but great sword wielding Paladin, does have a shield on the back as well. And then we have Rahiga, the druid. I also very much like this sculpt with the big moon staff. And again, you can see sort of manifesting plants out of the ground there. Right there. I very much like that. And I will apologize because for some reason my camera is just giving me all sorts of difficulty with keeping things in focus. But we're going to work on fixing that for the next unboxing we have coming up here. And then we have Arthur Rafgar, who looks like to basically be another Tabaxi, or again, if we're living in the world of Magic the Gathering, a Leonin, sort of a lion-based. He is a barbarian. You can see he's got the big great axe. Again, a lot more armor than most barbarians wear, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Then we have Vianola Aphir, the fighter. It looks like she might be possibly an elf of some kind. Maybe a gnome. Kind of hard to tell. She looks a little on the shorter side. Wearing some armor. She's got her sort of either longsword or greatsword over her shoulder. And then last is our monk, our turtle person monk, who I love this sculpt with. He's got sort of like monk beads in the one hand. He's got the staff with the 3 fish skewered on it, as well as the various scrolls and things in his backpack. Remember, these are all students, so you might see a lot more books and scrolls and whatnot. And then we also have the professor dog, which might be my favorite sculpt. I will say that in the package, this little piece you can see kind of right there is a little broken. There was a quill that came out of that ink pot, and the quill broke off. So either way, very cool. So I did want to say once again a huge thank you to the folks from Steamforged Games for sending over all of these awesome minis from the Adventures in Academia First Class Kickstarter, which, like as I said at the start, is still available and open to be backed for at least the next 69, 68 hours. So if you're interested in picking up these really awesome, unique sculpts, the folks at Steamforged Game do a phenomenal job. The detail, I don't know how much of it came through in the video, but the detail on these are phenomenal. If you've seen any of my other Steamforged Games videos in the past, whether it be the sort of animal adventures or the epic encounter minis, they are absolutely some of the best, most unique, beautiful looking sculpts with epic detail, and they're honestly exceptionally well priced for what you're getting. I know sometimes when you buy bulk minis or you buy minis from someone who's making them either with their 3D printing or molding or whatever the case may be, you never really know what you're going to get in the details until you finally get them in hand. And I've never been disappointed with a Steamforged Game mini. They always are top-notch, exceptional minis. The detail is astounding, and they're also very moderately priced. For what you get, you usually get a lot of minis, epic sculpts, and I've said it before with the epic encounter minis, and I'll say it again because I'm not seeing this stop anywhere. If you are looking to get into the process of getting unpainted minis that you will paint for yourself at some point down the road, you really can't beat the bang for your buck in the detail in Steamforged Game minis. So thank you again, Steamforged Games, for sending these over. I would love to say I'll show you guys what my painted minis look like at some point, but, you know, until I start doing this kind of thing full-time, painted minis, unless somebody else wants to come over and paint them all for me, which by all means. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.